Good afternoon. I am Ernesto Cedillo, now a professor at Yale University. I used to sit in the chair that now President Calderon will be seated for 6 years.
Are you missing?
No, not at this moment, sir. And we are here to have the Latin American plenary. I am very glad that there is a Latin American plenary because ours is a very important region of the world. Our region as a whole produces a GDP of 5.7 trillion, and we have 570 million people in our region. And I am very pleased that we have very authoritative voices representing the region to have this conversation. We have the Secretary General of the Organization of American States, José Miguel Insulza. We have President Álvaro Uribe of Colombia, and we have my President Calderón. So the idea here is to start right away with questions. This is not a session for speeches. They say, well, when the United States catches a cold, we get pneumonia. And now it seems that the United States has pneumonia. So how are we going to do this time around?
Well, probably we will get pneumonia as well. But the point from President Cedillo is I have listened all the day bad news about the economic situation in the world. Let me say something positive aspects of Latin America in this complex economic crisis. Of course, there will be a very important impact in our economies coming from the reduction of the demand for our export. But let me tell you that there are some very important differences right now. First, in this time, the origin of the crisis was not in Latin America. We coined in the past a lot of terms like tequila crisis, samba crisis, tango crisis, and so on. And this time, well, I don't know what is the name of this new crisis. It could be, I don't know, Big Mac crisis or something like that. But the point is, there is one difference. But second is, we learn from previous crises. As you know, we had in the past like over 30 crises in the last 25 years in the region. So we learn a lot. And this time, in several countries in Latin America, Colombia, Mexico, Chile, Brazil, there are good news in these circumstances. One is we have sound banking system. For instance, in Mexico, the ratio of capitalization is over 14%, which is probably one of the best in the region, or at least in North America. The second, we have sound public finances. We made our homework all these years. And several countries, I cannot speak for everybody. We have very good friends in the neighborhood, but at least our countries have been very careful about public finances. In our case, foreign reserves, for instance, are more than 3 times our total foreign debt by first time. And only to speak about this year, our foreign requirements are fully covered for this year. For the growth in Latin America, the average for the 6 past years in the region was 5% of growth. And even in these circumstances, the forecast of IMF will be over 1% in the region. So there is a very good opportunity for Latin American countries. And the challenges ahead is how can you use these assets, as Andrés Velasco said last night, in order to overcome the external shock that we are suffering. And one is we need to take care about the health of public finances. We need to take care about our banking system, but also we need, and by first time, we can apply counter-cyclical policies, and we are doing so in several countries. But that is different now. I hope that we can take care about this bad situation with the United States. It's impossible to say that we can solve that problem. We need to work together, but I'm absolutely sure that we are better than before to face this terrible economic situation.
Thank you, President. Mexico is part of the G20. Are you there speaking only for Mexico, or are you keeping in mind our brothers and sisters of Latin America?
Of course, we are trying to speak in the name of everybody in the region, because we have common concerns. And let me say that we are taking very active role in the region, in the international arena. For instance, Mexico is coordinating the Group of Rio, which is the largest group with the Latin American countries. We are part of the G20 and we are participating there. We will be in London in April, and of course we are talking in the name of the Mexican people, but also we used to receive the recommendations and suggestions from other brothers in Latin American countries. And at the same time, we are participating in others fora like APEC meeting, and we are participating also with them. And in particular, you were saying Central America. We are renovating our relationship with them, the countries in Central America, and establishing a regional development program that we call Mesoamerica Project. And the idea is to strengthen the relationship, but also to speak in the name of everybody. And we, the countries that are in developing situation, we need to raise the hand and say, this region is important to build a way out of this crisis. Why? Because, again, Latin America, as you mentioned it as well, has in 6 years in a row positive rates of growth. And one alternative for the growth at global level is to support the performance of these rising economies in Asia and Latin America as well. And one very important point that we want to raise in London is the idea that we need to redesign the multilateral institutions in order to precisely provide voices to other developing countries, but also to recapitalize the multilateral institution. Why? Because in this particular situation, the lack of credit, private credit, coming to developing countries, and in particular to this region, and the credit crunch, and of course the lack of the stop of foreign investment in the region, only could be substituted by multilateral organism. And one of our proposals is to rebuild them, to recapitalize the organism, and also to redesign the mechanism of taking decisions.
Thank you, President. Let me move to a very difficult topic for we Latin Americans. And I think it's important because you two presidents have been putting an admirable fight on this question. You, President Uribe, who had been longer in office than President Calderon, and now President Calderon, you both have been fighting against organized crime, against violence in our countries. And we know that this is a very serious impediment for our development. Of course, I have to take the opportunity to make a comment here. A few days ago, an analyst in the United States took the Mexican situation and then said that Mexico was close to be something like a failed state. Well, I believe that that individual probably was the one who told President Bush that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. But in any case, and this is to say to express my disgust with that statement. But in any case, I think it is just fair to ask, the two of you, and I will ask you to address it first, President Uribe.